So last month I travelled to Bristol for my brother's wedding. Congratulations to him and his lovely new wife. But I had a little time to kill and I'd been tipped off about a special destination that I just knew I had to visit. Just how special? Well, you'll have to wait and see. The Horological Underground is a boutique watch shop and an independent horological workshop and manufactory based in the Arcade in Bristol's Broadmead shopping centre. The founder and owner, German Polosin, is a Russian watch collector and watchmaker. A hobbyist turned professional, he began making watches in his homeland before moving to the UK and founding the Horological Underground. German clearly knows his stuff. The guy is an absolute master and welcomed me around the shop, bringing out trays and trays of gorgeous movements and oddities. They stock a range of vintage and unusual watches and timepieces, including some Soviet-era military watches and a wonderful collection of movements turned into conversion watches. But this is no solemn, dusty antique shop. German is passing on his knowledge to his team of young apprentices. A good half or more are musicians and formerly music industry pros. And he wasn't just satisfied with selling vintage watches, he wanted to build his own. And he wasn't looking to replicate the classics either, or put his own twist on them. German says that the beauty of running a truly independent business such as this is that he has the privilege of ignoring social, traditional, and industry standards. He wanted to do something that he had never done before, create a watch so unique that it's instantly recognizable and absolutely one of a kind. This is the Kopf. German for head, this Kopf is a stainless steel boutique wristwatch, either a skull or robot, depending on your outlook on life. German said that the watch's design is to remind us of our finite existence, live and do good things because the clock is ticking, and a skull is all that remains at the end. That surely must be the most metal blurb a watch has ever had. It's in an extremely limited edition. There will only be 100 made, and over 50 of them have already been reserved and delivered. Each one is unique, with your initials on the case back, a message to the future carved inside the case, and various other little tweaks. They are all built here in Bristol. Each Kopf is made of more than 200 individual components, and 90 of them are manufactured, finished, and assembled here in-house. It has a steel grain face finish, a flip pivot jaw to fit any wrist type, as well as a curved back, so it sits very comfortably, as well as being surprisingly light. Each face is hand-hammered, so it's covered in tiny craters and marks, just like the surface of the moon. And, this is extremely cool, tritium glowing indices. Yes, that is 26 tiny vials of radioactive gas, which means you will have round-the-clock glowing dial, and don't worry, it's not dangerous. It has a specially designed bi-directional automatic movement inside with 40 hours power reserve. It's also water resistant to 30 meters. It's definitely provoked some discussion. Watchfinder have called it the coolest watch on the planet. Let's take a look. Okay, it is an extremely hot summer's day in Bristol in England, and I can't believe what I have just seen.
There's a church down the hill from me. There's a church up the hill from you. We can both hear that old bell ring. It's calling me to worship you.
Hi guys, I'm Chris. This is the Horological Underground. We have mostly mechanical. Vintage is our era, our section that we work on. Mostly as manuals, automatics. We have some cool divers. We also respect a lot of the Soviet past. We've got some from various parts of the old Soviet era. We've even got like rocket parts, old USSR Soviet spacecraft, which has inspired some of the behind the scenes of this shop. And also the relating background, so we've got sort of old war watches, some trench watches, World War II watches, and pockets, which is where it all began. Some of the oldest pieces, and they've inspired our mechanical journey into watchmaking.
German's got a huge collection of rare movements, 18 to 1900s. People were still sort of figuring stuff out, and so there's a lot of really weird escapements, really weird mechanisms for keyless work, stuff like that, and so German collects these. So this has no glass at the moment, but really interesting prototype Patek Philippe with a really strange winding mechanism that ratchets in both directions, so 2 concentric wheels, and then it's also time setting. You push in this and it's set from the center.
Oh my god.
Really interesting thing. So this is going to be a wristwatch that we'll sell at some point. It makes it wearable again, which is nice.
So this is a very old prototype, very old example of a cricket pocket watch. Do you see a tiny cricket here? It's in the center, if you can catch it.
Wow. That is wild.
This is nice. Beauvais. Really beautiful, all hand engraved floral with crab claw duplex escapement. So all hidden escapement, all hidden gear train. It's just mainspring barrels and escapement. Everything else is dial side. So it's really clean, really hidden. All of the stuff in German's collection, a lot of these things are sort of one-offs and they're handmade.
Yeah.
They're really hard to put a price on these sort of things. It's mainly whatever someone will pay for them.
Yeah.
This is a really cool thing. This is my favorite at the moment. I'm still working on it. It needs some work. But it's deadbeat seconds. So it ticks like quartz, but it's all mechanical. So this is James Nardan, so pre-Ulysse Nardan. You're welcome to pick up any of these, move them around and stuff. It's all good. So double gear train on this one, so one whole separate gear train just for the seconds, and then the rest for timekeeping.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, this is another one. This is a Jaco with really interesting, again, like prototype keyless works. Again, center set like that Patek. But yeah, really nice, quite simple, less expensive, but still lovely. Audemars Piguet pocket watch with its original case still, so gold case. It's got quarter seconds chronograph, which is quite interesting. So jumping quarter seconds when it's running. It's also got split seconds, so when you press this one, the seconds hand splits into 2, so you can write down whatever you're timing without stopping the whole stopwatch, and then when you press it again, it will jump back and catch up.
My name is German Palosin. This watch is called Kopf. Kopf means head in German. Yeah, the main idea was to say skull in horological language, language of shapes, forms, surfaces, metals. Try not to using just prints and paints, to use only hard metal things to make it.
This section is our main shop area where we show the repurposed and service watches that we make and bring back to life. And they're all categorized in their relevant sections. And upstairs we have our floors of workshop where we do this work, and also where we make our Kopf watch. So come with me, let's go check it out.
Yeah, tattoo Kopf.
Tattoo.
It's actually
so awesome.
Maori.
Do you think a steady hand comes naturally, or is it something that you can sort of train yourself to do with sort of calmness to be able to?
If you're doing it every day, it
gets easier.
Yeah.
The main body of the case is this mid case. You can see that there's 2 different layers here. One of them is the mid case, and then you got a separate layer here called the faceplate. They kind of slot together. There's the O-ring that goes in between them that keeps it waterproof.
The waterproofing system is kind of similar to Audemars Piguet, when screws are compressing the case and the front of the case together. So the more pressure, the better it's sealed.
this is the mid case, which makes the main body of the Kopf watch. A lot of this is actually hidden by things like this faceplate. You can see so much of that gets hidden. We still finish every single part, even though a lot of it doesn't get seen, but it's about attention to detail and care and getting the finishing like kind of top notch. The sandblasting is the first step. The second step is really getting rid of the sandblasting in the bits that it wasn't supposed to get, because it is awfully hard to mask off areas and then sandblast it in the chamber very delicately. Plus the sand just blows everywhere. So the second part is to get the brushing, and the brushing is really difficult because as you're brushing it, you'll get grits of sand coming off of the sandpaper, and that can get in between, say, your fingerprints, and then as you're holding the newly brushed surface, you can make scratches in the wrong direction, and then you have to refinish it, and you have to very, very carefully hold it in just the right way so that you get this perfect beam of light. I'm not sure if you can pick it up, but it has to be absolutely perfect. So some surfaces like this one, again, doesn't get shown once you put the jaw on it. I'll actually bring the jaw out for you. So you've seen the mid case, this faceplate that goes on top of it. So you can see this is what attaches to the bottom here.
Wow.
There we go. And then there's screws either side there, and then some gaskets either side of the screws as well on the inside to make the rotation stiff while it conforms to your wrist like that. So that's what it looks like all in all, and you can see there's a very consistent brushing coming up and down here. So I've talked about the brushing, which is along the sides and the front and the back, but then there's also the chamfering, and most, if not all, the chamfering is done with mirror polish, which is done with this machine here. So before actually polishing it, the chamfers need to go up the grits of sandpaper. Once they're brought up to a really high fine grit where the grooves are like really, really shallow, that's when I get to use this machine, and I'll turn it on for a sec just so you can get a gist of how it works. So say that I'm polishing this very tiny chamfer here, which is on the corner. I'll first mask it off with this piece of tape so that I don't round off the corner with all the abrasive material. I'll look through the microscope here and just pretend that's running. You won't be able to hear me if I have it running. Yeah. And then I hold it here and look under the microscope and go around and go around. One of the important things is in this rather large chamfer up here, you need to be able to see your face. So I'm not sure how you'll be able to handle it, but you need to be able to look at yourself directly in the face here, and that it's not sort of wobbling or warping your face in a like weird way.
Oh my god.
So the way that I know I've done a good job is if I just look slightly stretched but my face isn't darting all over the place. There's all sorts of little tips that I've learned along the way, little tricks to figure out if it is perfect.
Wow.
So yeah, you can see a lot of minuscule details go into this.
That is insane. Thank you so much for taking us through that. A big spender, living up to my name.
So this is how it's running. 345 amplitude, which is exactly what we're looking for after a service, and 4 seconds a day.
Which is amazing.
It's chronometer standard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whether it will stay like that is unsure, but for now it's perfect.
Yeah. You're like 2 seconds off a quartz watch, and yeah, that's probably the best ones I've seen.
Wow, okay. Well, there we are, an incredible piece of work. The Kopf retails at just under £8,000, and you can see why with all the incredible care and attention given to each piece. I couldn't stretch to buying one, but I knew I couldn't leave empty-handed. So I actually went for this NTJ Swiss-made skeleton watch from the 1980s. It's got a slim gold-plated case. It's dust-proof with a shock-proof ES95 movement. Yes, I still need to learn what that means. And 35 hours power reserve. I wore it at the wedding, and it's my first official dress watch. I also enjoy the vibe of the faux crocodile leather strap. So thank you so much for watching, and for German for showing me around, to Chris for setting up the visit, and the rest of the team for allowing me to breathe down their neck with a camera while they do incredibly intricate work. Be sure to pay them a visit if you're ever in Bristol, or check out their website, which I will link in the description. So, does this watch shop drive me wild? Abso-bloody-lutely.